Hi, folks. Thank you again for coming on to Back to Basics. Today, we're going to speak with Ericka Young. We're going to have a great time on this episode. We did chit chat about money. We are going to be talking about money, how to save, what to save, and why to save. And that's what Ericka is all about. So let's stop talking to me and let's go and speak with Ericka on Back to Basics. I'll see you there.
Thank you, Back to Basics, for inviting me. Remember to subscribe and keep on listening. Remember, everything in life is going back to basics.
Hi, folks. My name is Girish, the host for Back to Basics, as I said earlier on my intro. Today, we're going to speak with Ericka, and we're going to find out why finance is a taboo. Now, if you remember back on February 14th, we released an episode, and her name was Tiffany Grant, and we talked about finances and we talked about taboo. Now, yes, it is a taboo topic because you know what? I don't want to know your salary, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. But then today we're going to find out from Ericka, is this a taboo or is it a topic that we should be talking about and over again with different people? And that's why Ericka's here. So why don't we stop talking to me and chit chat with her, get to know her better. And I'm telling you, this is the second time I've spoken to her and she's fabulous. So Ericka, how are you? And thanks for coming to Back to Basics.
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thank you, Ericka, for coming here talking about finance. But before we get into all that funny money business, what does Back to Basic mean to you?
Back to basics really means keeping it real simple. We complicate matters so easily. We make it over the top with all the things that we try and do with our finances and get creative, and or we add in things that really don't make a difference. And so I think it's really about just keeping things really simple and easy for you to utilize long term, right? Because most of the time we're thinking of right now and how's this going to play out today and all of that. But honestly, I want people to really consider are the behaviors and the things that you are adopting, software tools, and how you communicate. Is this something that you can make last because you want your money to last as well? So
Yeah,
let's keep it real simple.
thank you so much for answering that question. And thank you again for coming here. Very honored for you to be here. I have, in a nice way, not in a stalkish way, I have seen your post and I've seen your design of what you do and your small bubble that you have.
Yeah.
You explain that in a very simple way when it comes to money and when it comes to finance. Now, is it really complicated when we talk about finance? I mean, I've talked about this in other episodes, right? And it seems like it is a complicated thing when it comes to finance. Should it be complicated?
We make it complicated. I just think we make it complicated. And so here's how you can simplify. Really deal with one thing at a time. Right? So let's not try and solve all of our financial issues in one day or one night, right? Let's figure out what is that one thing that's absolutely most important and focus on that thing right now, and then move on to the next thing that you can conquer, or change one behavior, or have one conversation, or make this one alteration to the way that you manage money, or focus only on the budget for a full month to
Mm,
see how you can make it work, or utilize one tool. And I think that people do all of it at one time and they're overwhelmed and they throw up their hands and they say forget it.
mm,
So I think that we just complicate it because we're doing too much. We're eager and we're excited, but we don't give ourselves the opportunity to win with one small change. And if we make one small change per week or one small change per month, we're someone different,
mm,
someone evolved in 12 months. And that is a person that you can be proud of because you were
mm.
consistent.
Yeah, thank you again for that. There's a lot of people, and not that many people, but there's a lot of people who work in the corporate jobs and they get bonuses. And those
Hmm.
bonuses they use to pay off their balances or even vacations or renovations and fixes in the house because they waited all year to get that fixed,
Sure.
right? So let's focus on getting those bonuses and paying things off. And let's
Hmm.
say they paid it off. but then the credit card bill comes up again,
Yeah.
right? So now the question is, should we wait another 12 months to pay that off? And what
Oh,
is and what is the formula to do that?
yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. And I will add that people do this around tax season all the time. They get a tax refund, or like you said, they get a bonus or something special happens and they get some extra dollars in, and it's super easy to say, "Well, I'm just going to pay everything off." I say, let's reconsider making sure that something is always put into savings, that you reach some type of savings goal.
Mm,
It could be a small goal, but make sure that anytime you get any extra money that you put money into savings. And if you pay something off, make sure that you figure out two things. One, your budget with it paid off so that you don't rack it back up again. And what are you going to do with the money that you were paying per month on that actual bill? Right?
mm,
So if it was a credit card and you were paying $200 per month on it, now that you don't have to pay that anymore because you paid it off, be very intentional about where you're going to put those $200. And I
mm,
think that's what people don't do, is they fall back into a trap of behaviors that are not going to help them to stay out of debt. They are really sticking with the same behavior, so they're going to always get the same result, and then 12 months they're going to have something else that they have to
mm.
pay off.
Erica, thank you again for that. So basically, let me ask you this, all right? If they want to do some savings out of the salary, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm telling you, it's a very, very tough job when you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Sure.
Okay. So let's say you save $20 per month.
Mhm.
That's not a lot, honestly speaking.
Right.
Okay. But there are people, and we know that there are fortunate people who can save 200.
Sure.
But let's say people who are not fortunate, how do we help them? Because it's a very, very tough job out there. And then nowadays, obviously, people are losing jobs because of this
Yeah.
whole post pandemic, right?
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, inflation is real. And for many people, that is an issue. For others, the job itself is not getting you're not getting the pay raises, or somebody in your household doesn't have a job. Or where you live, it's very expensive and you're just really having a hard time keeping up and making ends meet. This is where looking at your budget and tracking your expenses are the very first things that you ought to do, right? And to see, are there any opportunities, right? So nowadays, it's pretty easy to earn additional income.
Hmm.
Moonlighting, the gig economy, renting out your assets, meaning renting out a room in your home, Airbnb type of thing, or renting out your car nowadays with Turo. I mean, there's lots of ways to increase your income, even if it's just temporary for 6 months or for a year, in order to have a little bit of a surplus that you
Hmm.
can use to either pay off some debt to make wiggle room, or to restructure what you have going on in your finances. But if you don't know what's happening in your budget, and you don't know how much you're spending, you're never going to really know
Hmm.
what you're dealing with, right? And
Yeah.
so also, I will say that $20, $25, $30 a month, don't discount that,
Right.
right? Like, I think a lot of people say that it's not enough, so it's not going to make a difference.
It'll
Here's the
make it.
thing. If you eat out one less time, that might be that 20 or $30, and you're not sacrificing a whole lot. You can have a sandwich at home for less than $5. You don't have to go out and spend 30 bucks
Hmm.
on one meal. And that's just one meal,
Hmm.
right? And so that's what looking at your expenses and looking at your budget will show you, is where those opportunities might lie. And so I think that people really need to don't discount the impact that you can make by paying attention to the numbers.
Yeah, Erica, thank you again. And I just thought of a joke that someone actually mentioned, and it's not really a joke. It's actually like a saying. You know, you're not spending money on cigarettes because cigarettes back in the days used to be $12. If you quit smoking,
Yeah.
you have $12 in your pocket. You save all that money throughout your lifetime, and you can buy a Ferrari at the end.
Well, there you go.
Right? So think about that, right? Take that same concept, and I'm not
Sure.
talking about cigarettes. I'm just talking about, let's say, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Okay. You can buy something else,
Yeah.
or you can pay something else off just by
Right.
doing that.
Or you
Right?
can invest,
Oh, you
right?
can imagine.
There's also the latte factor, right? We spend quite a bit of money on just coffee all by itself. Many people spend lots of money on their children, and I'm not saying, don't spend money on your kids, but nowadays there are so many places where we spend extra money. Amazon, let's look at how much we spend on Amazon in a whole 30-day period. Um, and so making these smaller tweaks or paying attention to where all of your money is going and reevaluating if it's necessary is a
Mm,
big piece of this puzzle.
Erica, thank you again, and thank you again for understanding my joke a little.
That's right.
So, Erica, let me ask you this, okay? The real when people they talk about savings, right? They usually say to save 20% out of your salary. Is
Hmm.
that the right number? Because that's what kids are getting taught in school nowadays, to save money at least 20%. Do
Yeah.
you think that's kind of realistic in today's world?
Honestly, it depends on your income. I think that it is aggressive for a person to jump into if they haven't been a saver. The other thing is, I think that we have to be very specific and purposeful about where you're saving your money and what it's for. So, first, let's make sure you have an emergency fund. So, all extra dollars, and it could be 20%, but most people are not going to start there, right? So, it might be 2 or 3% or 5%, and you are setting aside, or it's a dollar amount. It could like we talked about before, it could be $20. Here's the deal. I believe you need to be purposeful before we worry about the fact that it's got to be this big number. I will, however, say get used to living on your current income. And when those increases do come, or when your next position does arrive, or when you do get a pay increase, or things in your life begin to move upward in the pay scale, now if you were saving 3%, maybe you can save 5% now
Mm,
and not expand lifestyle so much. So I think
mm,
the expansion of lifestyle is part of the issue. So save for emergencies, save for large purchases so they don't require debt, and then save for retirement, but be purposeful when you're doing it.
Yeah, thank you again, Erica. You know, let me ask you this, and I've been hearing from different people, and I think I kind of agree with them, but then you have to tell me if I'm wrong or not, okay?
Okay.
Now there's a couple, okay? Let's say they are making 80K and 90K,
Hmm.
okay? And they're a couple. So combined together, what is that? 170,
Yep.
right? So let's say the 80K person, male or female, whoever the couple is,
Yep.
okay? Why don't we use that budget for the house, for
Hmm.
mortgage, for food,
Hmm.
and electrical and utility?
Yeah.
And I think the 90K should go towards the savings
Hmm.
or any extra curriculums. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on that?
Hey, you know what? I think it's a great idea. Here's the key: no couple relationship is the same.
No.
As long as they agree on their method, fantastic, right? I'm not the way that I see this is that if you and this is relationship advice right here, is do what works best for your relationship. You can utilize ideas from other people. You can see, what's worked for this person or what didn't work, and then come up with your own strategy. I would love, most people would love to be able to save an entire salary.
Hmm.
The problem is, what I typically find is that people get into this couple relationship, and the idea of saving one salary is wonderful, but they're so overextended that that's not a real possibility.
Hmm.
So, do what works for you, and it can become a goal. I've had people who have over time gotten to the place where they could save one full salary, but it's taken a couple years
Hmm.
in cutting back or in making adjustments or getting pay increases for them to be able to do that. That's not necessarily an overnight thing. It's
Hmm.
something that they grow to because it's a goal of theirs.
Yeah, thank you again. You know, what is the right amount for retirement? Honestly, Erica, because it seems like it grows every year, doesn't it? Because the things are getting
Yeah.
really expensive. I mean, you
Hmm.
you have to say $5 for a bread or $5 for a t-shirt is the same damn thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so how do we measure retirement, or what
Hmm.
is the retirement? Is it
Yeah.
lifestyle or is it medical savings?
Both. It
So
is both.
that's what I'm saying. So
So
how much is
so
how much?
first of all, today's dollar will not be equal to
Right.
the dollar 20 years from now.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you account for inflation over those however many years that someone has until they actually decide to step away from working. Um, so that's first. So the way that I operate, and I'm not an investment advisor, I don't do financial
Yeah.
planning, but what I do is I say, let's estimate your retirement budget. Let's estimate how much you want to travel, like per year, how much you want to spend on travel, where you're going to live, and let's estimate your, basically your household expenses. And if we have a budget today, it's much easier to forecast a budget for some years from now. That's step one. But and to make sure, I always say that your medical expenses are going to be way higher. And so that is something that you might not think about, but really does need to go into the budget. I'm seeing people, out of pocket, just healthy folks who are paying ten and $20,000 a year in their 70s and 80s for medical. And so that wouldn't be uncommon,
Mm.
but people don't think about that. So yes, we have to add in the medical. But the other thing is, the biggest thing in my opinion in retirement, if you can have no mortgage, your expenses are greatly reduced.
Mm.
So there's two parts to being prepared for retirement, in my opinion. One is save money so you actually have money to live on. And two is have no mortgage, have no debt, including your mortgage.
Mm.
Because if you have, typically your mortgage is the biggest expense that you're going to have on a monthly
Mhm.
basis. And
Mhm.
if you work for 40 years, you have had enough time to pay off a mortgage.
Right.
So be thinking about that. And most of the times, people are not thinking about that until they're in their 50s and they're trying to make retirement decisions because it's coming up soon. And it's like, I think, sure, you want certain amount of money in savings, but you'll need less in savings for retirement if you have no mortgage. If you don't
Mm.
have to support a $2,000, $3,000 per month mortgage or rent,
Mm.
that's huge
Mm.
to reducing the amount of your monthly out of pocket expenses. So, those are the things I have people to think about. Everybody's number is different. Everybody's number is different, depending on where you live, and the cost of things there, depending on how many grandchildren you have, and where you want to go visit, and things like that.
Mm.
Um, we can't say that everybody needs the same number for retirement, but if you
Right.
can vision cast and think about what the needs might be, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Thank you again, Erica. And I want everyone to understand that if you are not thinking of finishing and paying off the house and you want to sell the house,
Yeah.
all that money, you can go and get a rental. But now
Mhm.
think about this: you're paying that rental every month
Sure.
till the end of time.
Yep.
Eventually, that money's going to run out.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest way is to pay off the house, right? What are your thoughts on
Sure.
that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I have seen people who have decided that they might want to be overseas or do some mission work. And if you are going to pay off a more, or I should say, sell the home, make sure that you're investing those dollars and not, let's say, purchasing toys or adding to lifestyle with those dollars.
Mm.
Invest and be able to be modest in your expenses. And so typically, if people are selling a home, they're doing something way different.
Mm.
um I might also insert this: you might not want to sell the home if you're not going to be there. You might want to just rent it out
Mm.
because you might want to come back to it. So people need to consider more options than just the one. And that's typically why coaching is eye-opening for people, because they will should be able to walk away with some new ideas and fresh perspective on how to make their money work.
But Erica, just an example for other people. I'm 50. I don't have that much money to go and buy a second house to do a rental.
Yeah.
So, so where do
But
we
if you
stand?
were on a mission field, for instance, if you wanted to go be overseas and it's really inexpensive there, and you might want to do that for a couple of years, renting your house out might make sense so you can come back to it.
Mm. So there you go. Thank you so much, Erica, for explaining that because there are people out there who don't have extra money to to
Yeah.
invest or anything like that. And there's very many options as compared to many years ago, many moons ago.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Erica, we have actually started a new segment for Back to Basics, where which is a rapid fire round.
Hmm.
In this rapid fire round, there are some words and sentences. Whatever pops in your head, let's go and talk about that in brief, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay, so you're game with that, right?
I am.
Okay, awesome. So, Erica, the first word is going to be long term.
Save for the long term.
Okay, doing too much.
Oh gosh. Doing too much. Let's see. Yikes. Most of the time with our money we're doing too much and we're making it really complicated. So let's not do too much.
Okay, coupons.
I love coupons. One year I saved over $2,400 when I added it up in coupon savings. I love them. Let's go for it.
Awesome. Small changes.
Let's start with small changes. That's how you're keeping it simple. So maybe one step at a time, one change at a time, and then it'll add up to a whole bunch of changes.
Hmm. Deals.
Deals.
Hmm.
I love looking for deals. I'm always looking for deals. I'm the girl that is looking for a deal anytime I spend money. So let's do it. Let's go.
Awesome. Discounts.
Yeah, that's me. I probably buy most of whatever I get, clothing or what have you, on discount. So it's a way to get more and keep
Mm,
more in your pocket.
awesome. Savings.
There's three ways to save: emergencies, big purchases, and retirement. Keep it in purposeful when you're saving.
Hmm. Debt or no debt.
No debt. Done.
Not even a little.
Nope.
Okay. Couples.
Oh, preserve your relationship if you are a couple. So make sure that you see eye to eye and you're hearing each other out when you're talking about couples and money.
A common savings percentage.
Honestly, on average, I think about 10% is reasonable.
Okay. Salary.
Ooh. Honestly, I tell women to speak more about their salary so that they make sure that they're getting equal pay, fair pay. So let's talk about it more. Talk about your salary more. That part doesn't have to be taboo.
Awesome. Retirement.
I don't like the word retirement. I usually use the word when do you want to step away from working or reduce the amount of hours that you work. I don't like it because I feel like it means people are stepping back,
Hmm.
and I feel like our older population has so much more to offer, and so I don't want them to retire. I just kind of want them to do something different.
Okay. So let's change the word to step away.
Yeah, yeah. So
So I'm
let's
asking you to step away.
step away. So, rapid fire on step away. It just simply means do something different, and maybe you're not getting paid to do it, but you're enjoying yourself and still adding value and impact.
Awesome. Inflation.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it, but I think that we can find ways to offset it. So inflation is 8.5%, and I'm encouraging people to think about how they can increase their income by 8.5%.
Awesome. Medical.
You always got to take care of the medical. It might be expensive, but it's necessary.
Hmm. The last two is Erica.
She's great.
Okay. And back to basics.
Keep it simple so that you're always going back to basics.
Awesome. Erica, thank you again for playing the rapid fire round. Hopefully you like it. I didn't challenge you a lot, did I? Or
No, it was fun. It was good.
awesome. Erica, thank you again for playing that. Let me ask you this here. You did say the word coupon,
Yeah.
right? S And deals.
Hmm.
Now, are there deals or are they like hidden fees like back in the days that there used to be hidden,
Mm,
you know, um, I don't know, gimmicks or something? So what are your thoughts
mhm.
on that?
Actually, I think the stores themselves have decent coupons nowadays.
Mm,
So you make sure that you sign up for the rewards program and things of that nature. But there are also cashback programs that is not a scam They get paid by the companies that are advertising with them,
Mm,
and you potentially can get some cash back from that. So that's a coupon in reverse, if you will. You're getting just a little bit of money into an account. So that could be a way to always, anytime you spend money, have
mm,
money sitting in an account waiting for you to utilize for something different.
mm,
So no, I don't think that there's a lot of scams out there around couponing or getting deals, but I do think only actually participate with places that you already utilize. Don't go spend more money or different money somewhere else
mm,
if you weren't going to buy that item.
mm. Yeah, Erica, thank you again. You know, back in the high school time and college time, when we drink, we smoke, we party, we whatever, right? Because we need to look cool,
Yeah.
right? So same thing with money. I want to look cool because I have a phone which I need to look cool, or I need to have a fancy car, or I have a big TV. Do you think this is just a facade just to be famous? Or do you think that is just a show? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I do think that a lot of people want everyone else to think that they have it all together.
Hmm.
And I really reject that. I think that none of us have it all together.
Hmm.
None of us have arrived. We're all works in progress. And you don't have to put on a show. People, I heard it said once that people drive cars to impress people that they don't even know.
Hmm.
And I think that that is a slippery slope into debt and having no money. And
Hmm.
so it is important for people to be really true to themselves and have values and virtues that they stick by where it concerns their money, because it's really easy to try and impress people that really don't care.
Hmm.
And that's the tough part. You have to balance your value system and how you spend money.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you again. And but then sometimes there's ROI when it comes to building up your house,
Mhm.
or a car. Nowadays, there's an electric car, and that's a show off. But then that actually pays off towards the end. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that part? I mean, there are advantages. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not saying there's disadvantages, right? And but what are your thoughts on that part?
Well, I think that it's all in the motives, right? Are you purchasing the car because it's a good asset or it's going to work well for you, or you drive a long distance and it makes sense to have an electric vehicle or whatever it is? But is your motive to impress others, or is your motive to have a reliable piece of transportation that will last you a long time? And so I think that we really have to, check our motives when it comes to money, because we will spend money we don't have to impress people we don't know
Hmm.
for no real reason. Right.
Yeah.
And so just be real careful that you're doing it for the right reasons that make sense for you and your household.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again, Erica, for explaining and sharing all those small nuggets and about finance and
Yeah.
savings and medical and investments, kind of small investments, but then paying stuff off. And that's the
Yeah.
main thing that I took out of this whole episode. So thank you again for that. But before
Absolutely.
you leave today, do you have any last words to all my Back to Basic listeners and my viewers? And how is your journey on Back to Basics too? On top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad to be here, first of all. And second of all, I will say that the one thing I really want people to remember and to make certain that they stick with is being true to themselves. And don't worry, your journey is your journey. You do not have to try and mimic or have the journey of someone else. And every little small step matters. If you can remember that every small step that you take adds up eventually to these big wins and this big transformation in who you can become if you are consistent. So those take those small steps, be consistent, and be true to yourself.
Yeah, Erica, thank you again for being here, and thank you again for sharing all those small nuggets. I'm learning a lot from you. I will definitely tap you offline if I do need some guidance from you. But thank you again for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So we spoke with Erica today, and we talked about finance, didn't we? And we talked about what to do and what not to do. There's one thing that I actually regret because it's much later, because obviously I'm older now. But when my dad used to tell me is when you save money, you got to do this. And whoever's listening will not understand that if you need to convert over to YouTube and see what I did there. This actually means that to save money, have your money in your fist, which means that you can save as much as you can because you need to be stronger later when you're an adult. I learned that much later. So listen to your elders or whatever it is. And this is not a speech or anything like that, but this is the guidance from which I've learned from my elders. Now, as usual, as always, there's a quote of the day from Back to Basics. And hopefully, Ericka, my guest, will like the quote. And the quote is, too many people spend money they earned to buy things they don't want to impress people that they don't like. Isn't that what we just said? Because you know what? I want to buy an iPhone, the latest one out there. But who's going to be impressed? Is it them or is it you? The car that you buy, is it from A to B that you want to buy the car, or do you want to impress the other people? That's up to you to decide whatever you want to do. Our job and Ericka's job is to make sure that you get the guidance that's what you can from this episode. Thank you again, guys, for coming to Back to Basics. And remember, what do we always say at the end of the episode? Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and I will see you next time on Back to Basics. Ericka, how was that?
That was great. That was fun.
Awesome. You enjoyed
I like the Spitfire questions, the Spitfire words.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. There you go.
Spitfire. Hi, guys. Thank you again for tuning in to Back to Basics and listening to the excellent episode that we had today with our guest. You know, with your love and support, we do need you to at least rate our show, review our show, because it does make us stronger day by day, week by week, as I usually say on my episodes. And there are 3 things in this episode that it makes a hit for me, which is the content, the guest, and definitely the host. So guys, take care, God bless, and remember, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and see you next time on Back to Basics.